ranks. There were many accusations that back in the Alto days, and I believe I've spoken on Alto a few times. I was not around during that time, but there was a male facility called Alto where like all of the sexual assault used to take place.
All right, you kids get to bed. I get the storybook.
There is a place in the state of Georgia where no criminal ever wants to go. That place is called Alto State Prison, formerly Lee Arrendale in Alto, Georgia. If you come here, you surely won't make it out.
Stay tuned for Tales from the Toe.
The Georgia Department of Corrections is set to reopen the men's prison in Alto due to the influx of street gangs, which are increasing the crime rate statewide. Lee Arrendale State Prison, which was converted to a women's prison in 2005, will be converted back to a men's prison the 1st of next month.
Say, like, they had cliques and groups of people doing it. Like, if you come in there and you go into a certain pod, they say it was almost to a thing like depending on how you look. If you look like you could be, you know, more so soft or on the feminine side, then they may try to do something freaky to you. If you look to be more so, you know, more masculine, rumors have said that these people in a group would approach you and tell you that you're going to help us choke these folks out and take advantage of these folks, or we're going to beat you, stab you, and possibly do it to you. And it was like hey, you got to make a decision. I've heard that many times from many different people.
Welcome to another episode of Tales from the Toe. In this episode, Bill Feezzyy and Joe T. Baker fight for their lives in the savage Alto State Prison. Chapter 1. The Link Up. Popular YouTubers, Bill Feezzyy and Joe T. Baker, were an unlikely pair, bound together by a shared past and a shared vision for the future. Both had served 9 and 10 years of hard time, respectively, in the unforgiving confines of prison walls. Their lives marked by mistakes and missteps that had led them down paths paved with regret. Behind the shadows of their pasts, a flicker of hope burned bright, illuminating a path toward redemption and renewal. With hearts heavy with the weight of their experiences, Bill and Joe emerged from the depths of despair, determined to rewrite the narrative of their lives and make a positive impact on the world around them. Armed with nothing but their voices, some iPhones and camera equipment, and vivid stories of their wild-ass experiences in prison, Bill and Joe embarked on a journey of transformation, leveraging the power of social media to amplify their message and reach those in need of guidance and support. They both started with individual YouTube channels, but eventually decided to merge forces and create a shared channel aptly named From Bars to Stars. That channel became a platform for change, a digital sanctuary where stories of redemption and triumph found a voice amidst the cacophony of noise and chaos that permeated the fake-ass online world. Through candid conversations and heartfelt reflections, Bill and Joe shared their experiences with raw honesty and unwavering transparency, shedding light on the harsh realities of life behind bars and the toll that gang participation exacted on individuals and communities alike. Some young boys listened, but a lot more said, "Fuck them old heads." Chapter 2. Baby Bro is hard-headed. Bill Feezzy's heart weighed heavy as he made the long drive to Alto State Prison, the towering walls of the institution looming ominously on the horizon. With each passing mile, his mind churned with a maelstrom of emotions, torn between hope and despair, love and frustration. His younger brother, Camden, had fallen victim to the bullshit song of the streets, lured into the clutches of a dangerous gang called the Crips that promised brotherhood but delivered only violence and destruction. Despite Bill's warnings and pleadings, Camden, known by his street name Crip Cam, had followed a path paved with broken promises and shattered dreams, his innocence consumed by the darkness that lurked within the shadows. As Bill stepped through the cold steel gates of the prison, his resolve hardened like tempered steel at the sudden flashbacks he started having from spending almost a decade in places just like Alto. He knew that beneath the hardened surface of his brother's gang persona lay a soul in need of redemption, a spirit yearning to break free from the shackles of its past. But as he sat across from Cam in the stark confines of the visiting room, the truth hung heavy in the air like a suffocating fog. Camden's eyes bore the weight of his sins, his voice tinged with the echoes of remorse and regret as he recounted the monstrous acts he had committed behind bars, his allegiance to his gang unwavering even in the face of his brother's pleas. Feezzyy ended that visit, just like every other one begging his baby bro to leave the gang and focus on positivity, only to get a laugh out of him and the words, "Are you for real?" Chapter 3. Gangster Motivation. Desperate for a lifeline, Bill turned to his friend and fellow ex-felon turned motivational speaker, Joe T. Baker of Tennessee, for support. They forged a plan to reach out to the inmates of Alto State Prison, their words a beacon of hope in a world shrouded in darkness. Little did they know, however, that a storm was brewing behind the razor-wire fences, a tempest of violence and unrest that threatened to consume them all. Unbeknownst to Bill and Joe, a prison riot had been planned for the same day they arrived to do their motivational speeches, a powder keg of tension ready to explode at a designated time. Chapter 4. Riot Time. As they stood before the inmates gathered in the prison yard, their voices rising above the clamor of discontent, a sense of foreboding hung heavy in the air. And then, as Joe spoke of redemption and second chances, a deafening roar erupted from the crowd, the warning signs of impending chaos echoing through the corridors of the prison. The clock struck 2 p.m., which was the allotted time the inmates planned to start rioting. In the heart of the storm, Bill and Joe stood confused at first, but their resolve was unshaken by the specter of violence that loomed on the horizon. Both men were former gangster disciple gang members, so they were used to the savagery happening before them, but they also both denounced that lifestyle years ago and publicized so on their YouTube channel. As they attempted to maneuver their way towards the entrance to the building that housed prison staff, several inmates started beating one of the robot prison officers with metal pipes and trash cans, disabling the cyborg and stealing its built-in weaponry. "Aye, folk, we got the pepper spray off this pussy-ass robot," one tall, chubby inmate said to another, both glancing at Bill and Joe as the YouTubers brushed past them hurriedly. Those two inmates went over to the group of inmates they were with and said something that caused all 27 men to look in the YouTubers' direction before beginning pursuit. "Hey, y'all fuckboys, come here right quick!" A dark-skinned 20-year-old yelled out as Joe T. looked back, narrowly avoiding being poked by an inmate's blade as he swung at a human prison officer who was crying and pleading for his life. "We heard y'all fuck niggas left the mob, so we finna eat." Joe T. looked at Bill and told him that at that moment they had to go back to their old selves in order to survive because they were trapped in a bad situation. Feezzyy agreed, and they both busted their way into the staff building through a broken window, trying to get as far away from the pursuing GDs as possible. With each passing moment, the lines between right and wrong blurred, their convictions tested by the harsh realities of survival. In the face of imminent danger, they knew that the only way to escape the clutches of the riot unscathed was to embrace the shadows of their past. Drawing upon the skills honed in their former lives, Bill and Joe navigated the treacherous labyrinth of the prison, their senses sharpened by the primal instinct for self-preservation. In the darkness of the riot-torn corridors, they encountered old allies and bitter enemies, Bill getting punched in the mouth at one point, his left front tooth jarred loose before Joe T. crushed his attacker's nose with the bottom of a fire extinguisher. As the chaos intensified, the pair found themselves forced to make impossible choices, their morality stretched to its breaking point by the unforgiving crucible of conflict. In the heat of battle, they embraced the darkness within, unleashing a torrent of violence and aggression. As the riot raged on, Bill and Joe fought with every ounce of strength they possessed, their spirits undaunted by the specter of death that loomed on the horizon. Law enforcement from several neighboring counties penetrated the grounds of the prison, rescuing several injured prison officers and staff, including Bill and Joe, who had to explain their presence there that day. As the dust settled and the echoes of the riot faded into silence, Bill and Joe emerged from the darkness, their souls scarred but unbowed by the trials they had endured. For in the crucible of chaos, they had discovered the true measure of their strength and found within themselves the power to rise above the shadows of their past and embrace the light of a new dawn.
I'm not gonna go.
I'm not gonna go back and forth with you. I don't know what they got.
Any day.
Any day.